Want to live to 110? I mean, it's pretty much the ultimate human question, isn't it? We are constantly bombarded with these lifestyle hacks, diet fads, specialized supplements, all promising to add decades to our lives. But what is the actual secret here? Is it locked away in our DNA? Is it hiding in some remote corner of the globe? Or is it something else entirely? Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're investigating the secret to a long life, science, myth, and the blue zones. We're going to look at how humans age, explore these legendary longevity hotspots, and you'll definitely want to stick around for this, uncover a massive statistical plot twist that literally shook the scientific community to its core. Okay, part 1, the biology of aging, cellular reality. Let's just dive right in by looking at the biological baseline of why our bodies age at the microscopic cellular level. A completely foundational concept here is telomeres. Now, think of telomeres kind of like the little plastic caps at the ends of your shoelaces. Their whole job is to protect your DNA. But with every single cell division, and especially under the intense pressure of oxidative stress and chronic inflammation, which, let's be honest, is totally accelerated by our modern high-stress lifestyles, these caps naturally fray, they shorten, and when they get too short, the cell just can't divide anymore. It enters a state called cellular senescence. Basically, it retires. So at a molecular level, aging is driven by a few core factors. We've got that telomere attrition and cellular senescence we just talked about, paired with chronic inflammation. But there is also a deeply embedded genetic component here. Scientists have actually pinpointed genetic variations like the FOXO3 gene, which essentially acts as a built-in longevity switch. This gene helps regulate how our cells respond to stress, actively promoting healthy aging. So biology and genetics, they definitely establish a clear baseline for our lifespan. Right, moving on to part 2, Blue Zones legend, the hotspots. With the baseline science covered, let's travel to the places on Earth that supposedly hacked this very system. Back in the early 2000s, demographers identified 5 global hotspots with extreme longevity. Places where an unusually high number of people were allegedly living well past 100. We're talking Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy, the Nicoya Peninsula down in Costa Rica, Ikaria in Greece, and even Loma Linda right in California. Now, what's wild is that despite being geographically and culturally worlds apart, researchers noticed these populations shared an incredibly similar, super healthy lifestyle traits. Which brings us to a really famous quote from Dan Buettner, the explorer who essentially put the blue zones concept on the map. He noted that 80% of a person's lifespan is influenced by their lifestyle and environment. This idea spread like wildfire. It built this massive cinematic legend around these regions, pushing the narrative that our daily habits, our diets, and our communities heavily outweigh our genetic lottery when it comes to hitting that century mark. So, researchers distilled these habits down into the Power 9 traits. For example, they move naturally. No intense gym sessions, just consistent walking and gardening throughout the day. They have a deep sense of purpose, called Ikigai in Okinawa or Plan de Vida in Nicoya. They actively downshift to reduce stress through naps or strong family networks. They practice caloric restriction, like the 80% rule for eating. And they adopt a heavy plant-based dietary slant. Biologically speaking, these are absolutely fantastic habits. They stand in total contrast to our modern sedentary lives, and they're directly credited with reducing that oxidative stress and preserving telomere length. But hold on a second. Part 3, pension fraud, the plot twist. What if the demographic data underpinning these beautiful Mediterranean villages and super active elders, well, what if it just doesn't add up? Because recently, the scientific community had to take a long, hard second look at this data. Enter Dr. Saul Newman from University College London. His recent Ig Nobel-winning research literally pulls the rug out from under the entire Blue Zones myth. He set out to verify these supercentenarians and, well, he discovered fundamental and frankly kind of comedic mismatches in the demographic data. Let's compare the initial claims against the reality Newman found. We were told that extreme age in these zones was predicted by high vegetable intake, strong family bonds, a great sense of purpose, right? But Newman's statistical analysis revealed the exact opposite. He found that the highest rates of reaching extreme old age actually correlate heavily with regional poverty, low literacy, high crime rates, and, get this, surprisingly short average lifespans. How on earth is that possible? Well, it all comes down to a systemic lack of vital registration, basically missing birth certificates. Take Okinawa, for example. Historically, this place is the absolute poster child of the blue zones. Well, a 2010 government audit revealed a genuinely staggering statistic. 82% of their registered centenarians were actually already deceased. 82%. They were alive on the government books, sure, but long gone in reality.
And the data out of Sardinia is just as shocking. A 1997 audit over there exposed 30,000 cases of people claiming pensions for deceased relatives. 30,000. It turns out one of the most accurate predictors of reaching age 100 in these datasets isn't a magical Mediterranean diet at all. It's the financial pressure to commit pension fraud. I mean, if you just don't register a death, that person mathematically keeps getting older on paper, and the pension checks just keep rolling in.
Dr. Newman actually summed up the dark irony of all this perfectly. He said, "The blue zones are poor, the records no more, the 100-year-olds are all crooks." It is a harsh demographic reality check for sure. These hotspots boast record-breaking rates of supercentenarians, largely because of lousy government record-keeping and systematic financial fraud, not some ancient, localized fountain of youth. So, where exactly does this leave us? Part 4. Practical lessons for longevity. If the demographic data from the blue zones is totally inflated, but the cellular biology of aging is very real, what are we supposed to do? We have to step back and impartially separate the myth from the reality here. The myth is the idea that there are magical geographic zones where simply mimicking their exact lifestyle guarantees you a century of life. But the reality is actually much more empowering. The proven cellular science stands entirely on its own. Modern research consistently confirms that plant-rich diets and low stress really do protect your telomeres, regardless of the demographic fraud. The biological mechanisms are completely solid, even if the regional data was hijacked by bad record-keeping. So how do we build a practical framework for ourselves today? Well, forget the hype and just focus on the scientifically backed strategies. Adopting a plant-heavy diet, legumes, whole grains, olive oil, that provides the antioxidants that directly combat the oxidative stress fraying your telomeres. Practicing moderate caloric intake reduces metabolic stress. Getting consistent natural daily movement keeps your cardiovascular system robust. And fostering strong social networks genuinely lowers chronic stress, protecting your cells right down to the molecular level. You do not need to pack up your life and move to Costa Rica or Sardinia to apply these principles. You can implement the whole shebang right where you are. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a provocative thought. When you look at your own habits, your diet, your exercise routine, ask yourself, are your lifestyle choices based on proven cellular science? Or are you just buying into the romanticized hype of an extreme longevity myth? The true secret to a long, healthy life isn't hidden away in a remote village's missing birth certificates. It's written right there in our biology, just waiting for us to unlock it through consistent, scientifically sound daily choices. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive.